Hello and welcome to episode 128 of the Pos-cast with Rabbi Shmuel Posner and myself, Seth Hellman. Rabbi, how are we doing today?
Fantastic. Baruch Hashem. Good yontif, good yontif, good yontif. Guys, do you realize that Seth is wearing his smiley hat? If you look at the past 10 episodes, he was not wearing the smiley hat. Tonight he's wearing the
Is that
smiley
accurate?
hat. Huh?
Let's see. Is that? I mean, yeah. No, that's 100% accurate. It's been. Oh dear Lord. Let's see. The last episode I wore it was June 4th, so it's been
a
4
long
months.
time. Tonight, zman simchaseinu started, and boom, on goes the smiley hat. So, guys, you know we always put this out on Wednesday. But on Tuesday, I got the weekly message of Tuesday message from Seth, which was, what time tomorrow? And I
That was
looked
definitely
at it.
Wednesday night or Monday night. There was no way I sent that on Tuesday. Oh no, I did send that on Tuesday. That is so awkward.
So I looked at
I
it.
thought I sent that on Monday. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. No, you sent it on Monday.
No. I did send it on Tuesday, but also Tuesday made sense because we could have recorded on Wednesday. We just didn't. Okay, no, I feel
Right.
justified.
You sent it on
in my
Tuesday.
text.
And yeah, Wednesday today's Thursday. That was yesterday. Wednesday was yesterday.
Yeah. Okay. No.
So I looked at it for 4 seconds and I laughed inside. Like, I can't, no, it's impossible. There's so many things that must be done. No negotiating. And
It's not like you have to cook.
Huh?
I said it's not like you have to cook. You don't have any dinner to prepare.
First of all, we do have a meal.
Well, yeah, that's true. You do eat beforehand. Whatever.
We have to eat. We eat 2 meals. That's the thing I have to do. I have to be at the table. It was Chani and I. That's it. But still, I have to be there. I have to go to the mikveh twice. You have to daven. You have to do a kaparis. The day started at 4:30. 5 o'clock, I was at the Boston Shul, dunk in the mikveh. Then off to Shela House to swing a chicken. Then into the Shela House to wait for the meeting to start, learn Rambam. That was good. And then, I don't even remember, it was just a swirl of activity. We davened downstairs, so I had to get that all ready. And various other things that had to be done. Back to Mincha at 3 o'clock. Anyway, it was a very busy day and it was impossible.
Do you eat the chicken or do you give it away?
No, I leave it there. They shecht it and I don't know what they do with it. They were koshering it. I know what they do with the end product. I don't ask. I don't know. I know I paid a lot of money for the chicken, so that was good. So that was Erev Yom Kippur. It's much better to talk after Yom Kippur when the joy starts. I just watched a video of the Rebbe after. Let me see. I can show it on the thing. I'm sure everybody must be familiar with this. Not everybody. Maybe somebody will aren't. Here we go. Just bear with me. We haven't done this ever. We're going to do it now. Gem videos. Here we go. Come on. Come on. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. Okay, the music was a terrible choice. Because that's Napoleon's March, which we sing before the end of Yom Kippur. Once Yom Kippur is over, it's V'samachta b'chagecha. We're going into Sukkot. Why did they put that music on? I don't understand who runs that place. But that was the Rebbe saying, Good Yontif. And everybody says, Good Yontif. And I go 3 times, Good Yontif. We had a great crowd for the end of Yom Kippur. I don't know. The Jews, I don't know where they come from. Like the last hour, it was packed.
Yeah.
And the last 15 minutes was more packed. Then after the shofar blown, some kids walked in like, where are you coming? What did you come here for? To eat a bagel?
Yeah,
Maybe
no, that's
that's what,
exactly
yeah.
so the people you have three, well, I guess four. You have four sets of people, right? You have the people who are gonna come every single so you have them, they're there for Kol Nidre, they're there for Shacharis, Musaf, Mincha, and Ne'ilah, right? Then you have type number two, which is they only come on like the longer days. So they're for Shacharis, maybe they're there for Mincha, and then they're there for Ne'ilah. And then you have person number three who just shows up for Ne'ilah. And then you have person number four who shows up at the end of Ne'ilah for the bagels.
For the shofar, like shofar.
Yeah,
It's
for the
so
shofar and the
funny.
bagels, yeah.
The way people connect to Yom Kippur in general is fascinating. Yom Kippur is a day of forgiveness, but you don't do anything. Like, it's so weird. For the Jew who's keeping Judaism a whole year, like Yom Kippur, okay, now this will be like the cleansing of the things I didn't do exactly right or whatever. But the person who does nothing a whole year or does very little, like, why is Yom Kippur like this major day? Major day for what? To ask forgiveness for doing nothing, and when you, in your mind consciously, I'm still going to do nothing? The only way you can understand it is according to Chassidus. It's something deep within the soul, the oneness of Yom Kippur. Rebbe talks about this. Chassidus talks about it. Yom Kippur is a one day, it's like the uniqueness of the Jewish soul that comes out. There's a beautiful talk. You know Dr. Creighton, right?
Doctor Who, sorry.
Creighton,
Oh, the Levi.
the
Yeah, yeah,
Levi.
yeah.
So he wrote up this story that happened.
I think about him often. Finish the story, and then I'll say why I think about him
Okay.
often. But continue.
So he wrote up a story that happened Yom Kippur, I don't know, 10 years ago. It was during the break. I was standing outside, and there was a ball game going on. It must have been like the playoffs or something. And this man walks by. He's wearing shorts, not a young man, not an old man. And he walks by and he says, "Could I do Yisker?" So I'm like, my mind starts swirling. Like, Yisker, it's after the break. It means Torah reading was over 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago. And then I'm thinking like, okay, it's Yom Kippur. Yisker, by the way, you can say it anywhere you want. Like during COVID, people are, Yisker doesn't mention Hashem's name. It's nothing. It's just, you don't need a Torah scroll. You don't need a minyan, right? In our shul, thank God, we don't have a minyan for Yisker because there's very few people that don't have their parents not alive. So you don't need a minyan. You don't need to be in shul. There's no specific time you have to do it. It's instituted. We'll get to that in a second, why we do it on Yom Kippur. But it's not like you need something to be able to do it. You can say it at home. Remember that my soul and my departed, da, 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 da. It's like one paragraph. Say it, not a big deal. So I'm thinking to this guy, I said, yeah, come and say Yiskar. Then as I'm walking into the building, I'm thinking, Yiskar. So I give him a yarmulke. I put on it, we come into the shul, I put a towel, give him towels to put on. And I said, here, read the Shema. Like, let him do some substantive davening instead of just Yiskar, in addition to Yiskar. Says Shema, he starts saying Yiskar, and he starts crying. It's my mother, it's my mother. It's okay, I understand. Talk for a few minutes, and he says he wants to make a donation. I said, Yom Kippur, we're going to talk about it. He gives me a business card, and off he goes. Okay. So he actually did send a donation, and then I contacted him. I said, I want to come see you. So I go to his office, and he says, what can I do for you? I said, well, actually, I'd like to reverse the question. What could I do for you? So we got to talking, and he said, yes, it was a very vulnerable moment for me. My mother passed away recently. And I said, okay, what I'd like to do for you is to put on tefillin with you. And he was so excited, he called his 92-year-old father in Florida, who didn't answer the phone. And we put up mezuzahs in his office. And he happened to be head of a big company and pretty wealthy. And I stayed in touch with him at least until Purim, because remember I brought him Mishloach Manas for Purim, and then I also brought him Matzah for Pesach. And then I think he moved, and we lost touch, we lost contact. So at the Ne'ilah speech, I told this story, and I said, why did this guy, like, what was going on? Like, the guy's like not keeping Yom Kippur. I happened to be standing outside, he thought about Yizkar. So I said, people think that Yizkar, you remember the neshama, but I think it's the other way around. I think the neshama, the soul of the departed, is reaching out to the person here and schlepping them into shul. And in fact, I don't know if I knew that consciously or subconsciously or didn't know it at all, but the Rebbe spoke about this at our Fabrengen in very strong terms, that the neshama he has a grandmother or a grandfather who wants him to get into shul and comes into shul there. So anyway, so Dr. Creighton heard this story. He was there and he wrote it up for Chabad.org. Okay, so I saw it was a couple of years later, and okay, very nice. Then a summer after that, a man came Shabbos morning, somewhere in the middle of the summer, and he came for Shacharis, whatever. After davening, he gets ready to leave. He wasn't like dressed for Shabbos. He was dressed like, like a tourist, just regular clothes. I said to him, so why'd you come here? He pulls out of his pocket a article from a little publication that it's called the L'Chaim Weekly. It's like a 2-page fold over, glossy paper, and they have something from the Rebbe and a story, like a handout that you would give to people, if you went on a mitzvah during a Friday, give them out something on the Parsha Web, a Rebbe story, whatever. He said, I saw this story translated into French, and I was in Boston, I wanted to see where it happened. I'm like, okay, this is where it happened. Then
people making pilgrimages.
I think he was in Boston anyway. But then I saw somebody show me a different publication, not a Lubavitch publication, that took the story and twisted it a little bit, which got me really upset because they put in little things that didn't happen, whatever. But they also caught that story, and whatever they brought, their whole direction was off, but not important. Anyway, so that's what the Rebbe said, that it's not that you're remembering the neshama. The neshama is schlepping you into shul. But we don't have like a lot of Yizkar people. Like, some shuls get full some shuls will be, the people will come maybe on time, but many, there's certain times that people leave. You have mass exoduses. Like on Rosh Hashanah, it's after shofar blowing. The shul gets packed. You blow the shofar the first time, all of a sudden you look around and we still have a minyan. And on Yom Kippur, it happens after Yizkar. People will come, and after Yizkar, you start diving, the Amidah for Musaf, and they wait till Shemona Esrei starts, and then they make their big escape. And you turn around, and they're like, where did everybody go? We don't have that issue because our population generally is not older people. So when it got the most full was Ne'ilah, the most full. And as Ne'ilah progressed, it got more and more full. The second, of course, is Kol Nidre. But I think Ne'ilah is more attractive because it's like the end, and then you go eat. Like, this is like, it's more of an uptime. Kol Nidre is part of the whole day. Anyway, so that was it. So I was thinking about it. So I was talking to Yisro, our son, who was the Chazan, did it very good, was very good, very pleasant, very wonderful. It's great. So he says there's some kids that came in like after it was over, like after shofar blowing. Some people are like, what time is the shofar blowing going to be? Like as if that's some major part of Yom Kippur. I mean, it's symbolic of a couple of things, but it's not like it shows the end. It's the end of to signify that the fast is over. You can go eat now, or to commemoration of what time based on English. But it's not like some essential part that's actually important. It's more important to say Shema Yisrael in the morning than to hear shofar. But anyway, these people come afterwards. So, there's a joke, people that come to shul, JFK. JFK? Just for Kiddush.
Okay. It's not where my mind went.
So people come and just for Kiddush. And I was in Crown Heights once, and I saw that. I couldn't believe it. It was a shul, and after davening's over, like 20 people came in. I don't know, like not people who davened somewhere else. But anyway, I'm not getting involved in all the different things. But so
Oh, Kiddush Club. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
it's
Yeah.
not Kiddush Club. This is after davening the Kiddush. The Kiddush Club is the middle of davening. It's a whole different story.
Okay, fine.
Anyway, so people came in. So it was
People are food motivated. That's the
right. So it was like 2 or 3 people, and so I said to Yisrael, if you make a barbecue, people just come for the food. So what's the big deal? They came after Yom Kippur for the break fast. They ate kosher, whatever. It's not a big deal. Anyway, so that's the idea. Like people, why do people come for Yom Kippur? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make no sense. Like the Nova exhibit, the Nova thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they have an exhibit now. It's in Boston.
Mm.
So it's not part of the exhibit, but it's sort of an attachment to the exhibit. There's like a Chabad table. So they contacted. So I said, okay, I'll go there. So I went there and he saw that they're open 7 days a week for like 3 weeks or 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it is. And the only day that they're not open is Yom Kippur. Like, why? Why? So Shabbos before, Shabbos after is not a problem. Yom Kippur. It's
Rosh Hashanah.
No, it started after. It started after Rosh Hashanah.
Fine.
So Yom Kippur, it's closed. It's the only day. And like I'm talking to one of the Israelis, so Rabbi Zaklis had services in the W Hotel, which is downtown near him. She said, I'm going there. I said, where are you going to stay? I'm staying in the hotel. I don't have any complications. I just come down to my room. I go to the services, whatever. Like, so meticulous about, Yom Kippur. And it makes
the
no
Israelis
sense.
in general take it seriously. Like I had never heard of the concept of like not keeping anything but keeping Yom Kippur until I met the Israelis that were on the hockey team that I broadcasted for last year.
Right, exactly. Like, so there's something of Yom Kippur that, and what is the idea of Yom Kippur? It's not like Purim. Purim I can understand. We're celebrating. We want to, we were saved. Okay, Pesach took us out of Egypt. Yom Kippur is about what? It's about being Jewish and being connected to Hashem, Nun Torah mitzvahs. But so again, go back to what I said before. It's only according to Chassidus because the essence of Yom Kippur is the oneness of the Jew, the essence of the Jew, the essence of Hashem. That's why we don't eat, don't drink, get all the gashmis, all the physicality out of the way. Like it's a soul day, SOUL, soul and SOL, solely to Hashem. Don't elevate it by making kiddush leave all that stuff out of it. And that's only makes sense. It's just like this, the neshama pulls them in. They have no idea why they're there. It doesn't make any sense to them either. You read the siddur. I can't imagine that the prayers that we say connects them at all. All this, I did this and that and the other sin. What? They don't think there are any sins. If they think any sins, they wouldn't, live differently. Anyway, it's just a fascinating thing. It's just a fascinating thing. It's a beautiful thing. People come, but you make connections and maybe something. And when my speech today, I just said, it's your essence of your soul. Let the essence come out a little bit. Tomorrow, guys, put on tefillin. Women, light Shabbat candles tomorrow. Do one mitzvah that takes it one step into your life outside of Yom Kippur. Just to do a whole Yom Kippur and go back and not do anything makes no sense to me. I just don't get it. But anyway, that little clip I showed you of the Rebbe, like the transition from Yom Kippur mood into Sukkot mode is so fast and so fantastic. Like seeing the Rebbe walking out with his kittel and klaus and just like they start. So the song they should have been singing was this Amachta, because that's what you go for. That's where you go for Sukkot. But anyway, that's what they did. And yeah, so now yeah, it's just amazing. And that's what you see. You see this. The Rebbe, to be able to control moods, like to call up a mood. Now you're going to be serious. Now you're going to be happy. But to do it real, be real about it. Not I'm going to make believe I'm happy. I'm not going to believe I'm serious. Be seriously serious, and to be truly happy, and to switch from one to the other, because that's the call of the day. To be crying 1 minute and laughing the next minute. and just turn it
I
on.
have 2 stories for you now. Now that you've said that, I have 2 stories.
Stories?
Yeah, stories. You ready for this? Okay.
Yeah.
So first up, we'll go back to the doctor, right? Because that's how I had originally brought it up. So I don't know if you'll remember this, but I want to say it was my senior year at BU. It might have been my junior. Pretty sure it was my senior. And I did the Haftarah for a Shabbos because it was my bar mitzvah, Lechacha, right? And I'm going through the Haftarah, and in my book, which was like I still have it. It's a Chabad House, like it's got insights from the Rebbe in it, right? I want to say my book said Vikoye.
Oh boy.
The center, the doctors said like Vikoye, and then I think I looked at yours and it said Vikovoye. And so like we were trying to figure out, we had like 4 different pronunciations of how to figure out this word, right? And so it became a whole thing in the middle of trying to do the Haftarah. But the reason why I always think about him is because after that, right, at the end of davening, right, we have kaveh, right? And so we get to that point and he goes, Koye, right before you start doing it. And so that little joke, anytime we get to that point of davening, I always think of him because of that joke. And so that's the story about him. But then, it's funny that you bring up the story about the Rebbe being able to change the mood, because I would argue that that's like, you have that ability. Because I don't know if I'm sure you remember, there was that crazy homeless guy that was shouting at people going into the Chabad House one Shabbos. And I walked by him and he starts yelling at me, and so I naturally start yelling back at him. And I was like all angry, and my temperature's up and adrenaline's flowing, and I step in, and everyone's obviously watching because most people just walked in, didn't do anything, and I of course was going back at him. So the door opened. I want to say Hani was watching, and she opened the door, let me in, and I come in, and I'm like, people, I'm like, oh my god, that was ridiculous, like I'm all angry. And then you walk 2 feet right in front of me, and you just hold out your hand. And I remember shaking it, and just immediately, just the temperature drops. Like all good, like all calm, super ready to go, just like focused. Just a handshake. That was it.
That's me, Mr. Calm. Yeah, so zman simchaseinu, time to rejoice. You have to rejoice. And it's not just time to rejoice, but one thing I mentioned on davening today was there was this one of these Rebbe videos where the man comes to the Rebbe between Rosh and Yom Kippur, and he says he has some issue with a business deal. What do you do about it? And the Rebbe says, you say Avinu Malkeinu every day. When you say the Avinu Malkeinu that's connected to things that you need, have in mind. You say Avinu Malkeinu, my Father in heaven. Hashem's going to help you. And the Rebbe said it like so simply, like, what kind of question is that? Or somebody else asks, is it a good time? Is this a good time to do a deal? The Rebbe says, this is the time that Hashem says I'm close to the Jewish people. So of course it's a good time. In other words, we think about it like symbolically. To the Rebbe, it's not symbolic. When it says Hashem is close to you between Rosh and Yom Kippur or in times of Elul, it's not like, oh yeah, that's cute. No. That's the real thing. If you want to know, it's a good time to do a deal. It's a good time to ask Hashem for what you need because Hashem's going to give it to you. That's the thing the mood is not something you turn on. It's like, this is the real thing. It's like if somebody walked in right now and told you you won $1 million lottery, would you have to say, okay, 1 second, let me think about how to be happy. It would come automatically because it's just it's a happy thing. When you go into a certain time, then now is the time to be happy. That's the channel for all kinds of blessings. And that's how the Rebbe reflected it to us, which is so amazing. Because when you're there with the Rebbe, you go into Yom Kippur, Erev Yom Kippur is serious, Yom Kippur is serious, and then come to the end of Yom Kippur, and it's like the Rebbe's dancing, standing on his chair. It's like, whoa! Like it's insane. It's amazing. And so now, that's why it's so good that we're doing the Pos-cast now. Because now we can be happy and excited. The sukkah's half up. We got to finish the sukkah tomorrow. Lulav and Esrei, get ready, dancing in the streets. Make the whole simcha thing. And that's the order of the day. So if you did Yom Kippur right, you can do sukkahs right. If you didn't do Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah right, then where's the joy coming from? What's the joy all about? And it says, when you take your Lulav and Esrei, it's like a banner. We were successful. You raise your banner. That's the lulav. So yeah, that's the idea that we are confident coming out of Yom Kippur that we've been successful and we will be blessed. And that's the beauty of it. We don't get stuck in it with, regurgitating I was bad, I had to do sin. And there's a time for it. The time's over, simcha. Hashem should help. We should have the ultimate simcha. Coming to Mashiach, we should send sukkahs in the Beis HaMikdash.
Amen. And with that, thank you so much for listening to episode 128 of the Pos-cast with Rabbi Shmuel Posner. We will see you next week.